Right, I don't need to tell you how I work, do I? Because you just, you know anyway, don't you?
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. Right. Female. Now, what I will say is, I know I've given you a reading before, darling, but I don't know who I've had and who I haven't had because it's not for me. But I do have a female. I think this is great, Grandma, for some reason. I've got like the older generation.
Yeah.
Is your grandma on mum's side here?
No.
Right, just give me a minute. I think I've got great grandma. She's like an old-fashioned, proper old-fashioned like matriarch.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Everything was done by the book. What's the other word I'd say? It's like, it sounds mad, but there was no kids out of wedlock. There was, the wife stayed at home and had the kids, and the husband went to work. And
Yeah.
that's the feeling I get from this lady. That's why I thought I'm thinking great grandma, because it's more of a older soul. But there is a female coming with her.
All right.
Does she have a daughter in spirit?
I'm trying to think. Possibly. I'm not
Because
sure.
there's a girl who's coming through with her, a younger female on the next generation down. So it could either, it could be like a niece, daughter, or it could even be a child that she lost and has grown up in spirit. But there's definitely a female that's coming through with her.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
That's fine. Right. What are you telling me? Bah, she's making me feel like at the minute. Now, I've obviously, before I started recording, I'm not going into it, but I said a few things about myself, didn't I?
Yeah.
But I feel with you, it's coming in 53s.
Yeah.
Rather than 33s. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's fine. Because it's like she stood there and it's like, this wouldn't be happening when I was here. This would not be happening. She's also making me feel like you feel you're pushed out.
Yeah.
Like, you're pushed aside.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. But I also, it's mad because there's also a female on Earth plane who I feel is just sat there smirking at the full situation. Like, I don't know who she is, but it's like she sat there as though to say, getting my way here, getting my way. And that's just how I feel. She's also saying that you have tried something to try and solve the situation or try and help the situation, but more needs to be done. Okay? Yeah. More needs to be done. Right. You married?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you and your partner, I feel like there's, it's like two families have come together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when they say ready-made, two ready-made families have come together, right? But I feel like one of them on one side, one of the siblings on one side, is being influenced by an outside source.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. And that's just what I feel like.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right. Okay. Right. She's also acknowledging the mental health side of things, because I feel there's mental health going on, but she's acknowledging it reluctantly, because again, you've got to remember, she's the older generation, and to them, you got on with it. And it sounds, I
Yeah.
know it sounds hard, but that's how it was.
Yeah.
It's more open these days. There's more support. Well, there isn't enough, but there is more support out there for people and everything. But, you know why I yawn, because I use my energy.
Yeah.
But I also feel as though she's reluctantly acknowledging it, so she is there in her own way to say, yes, it is going on.
Yeah.
Okay. I also know you're very run down.
Yeah.
Very run down with everything that's going on, but I don't feel it's just your personal life. I feel it's though there's a bit of everything going on with you.
Yeah.
And everything's getting on top of you, if that makes sense. But it's like the things that are getting on top of you as well. Why? Some people, honestly, they do my head in when they do it. Some people, from an outside point of view, would turn around and say, well, why are you letting it bother you? That's not worth bothering about. But when you've got everything else that's going on, the littlest thing, even dropping an egg on the floor, is going to set something off, because it's just everything. So that's what I feel. I feel like there's just piling and piling and piling on you.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to sound very random, what I'm going to say. But just give me a yes. I know. Just give me a yes or a no. Have you received messages from an unknown source?
No.
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
It's not something that resonates at the minute.
That's
no.
fine. Because I feel like there's been messages sent somehow through an unknown source. So to me, that could be a fake profile, or a withheld number, or something. I feel like there's something being sent. So as I say, remember I've said it because it might not be you directly, but I do feel like there's something being sent regarding something, okay? And she's acknowledging this. But what I do need to say is, you know who's doing it.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. Okay. I also feel like at the minute, as I say, when I record, I don't say your name if I can help it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a personal thing. But I do feel at the minute that with what's going on with you, there's like an undecided decision.
Yeah.
It's like you want to go one way, but then should you stay on that road, or should you go down the other road, or should you do this, or should you do that? And I feel like you need to take a step back from everything. You've got to do what's best for you and yours, not what's best for other people. And what I mean by other people is, and I know I don't mean to sound awful this, but when two families sometimes come together, there is a clash. And I feel like sometimes when there's that one person who's trying to manipulate and cause the drama within the ready-made family, sometimes the only solution, it's like what she's making me feel is I need to step back for a while to let them realise that this can't go on.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now I know everybody at the minute struggling with cost of living and everything and financial situations. We're all in the same boat. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm sat in a dressing gown. I'm a cold ass anyway, but I feel with you there's more going on financially than should be.
Yeah.
And I feel it's taken its toll, but your feelings aren't taken into account. I wish she'd stop draining my energy. Honestly, she's a pain in the arse, this woman. It's like, I'm just going to come and stand next to you, I'm going to lean on your shoulder, and I'm going to make you yawn. I'm like, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, do you know, just lately, it's recently, I've been like chilly at this time. But then I go to bed, and I could have a fan on, I feel like I'm in Ibiza. And I still sleep on top of covers. It's just, I'm up and down at the minute.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I feel like you've spoke as well recently, like about a break away. For example, make a break.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
it, I feel like that's been spoke about, and I feel that needs to be done because she's also saying, well, when she's trying to talk, she gets spoke over and her opinions aren't mattering, and I'm like, right, okay, but this is like for her, it's weird because she's the older generation. Years ago, the women did used to get spoke over. The women
Yeah.
didn't have an opinion. The women were told what to do and when to do it. And I'm sorry to say, but that's how it was, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's like now she's agreeing that you have a right to say what you feel and you have a right to speak your mind. But I feel like when you try to or when you start, there's always either somebody there or there's always a situation where you can't speak because the phone will ring or somebody will knock on the door or something. And that's why
Yeah.
she's saying do the make or break, go away and do this because this it it needs to be dealt with, okay?
Yeah.
For some reason as well with you, I feel like I'm getting grief from you. Not chew. I mean like you're grieving for somebody. But I feel like it's a raw grief. Now I don't know if you've lost somebody recently because as I say I can't guarantee you I get through. But what I can say is whether it's an old grief or a new grief, it's sort of like come to the surface. This has
Yeah.
come to the surface, and because you never probably dealt with it when it happened, it's because of what's going on, it's affecting you now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I look like I need a kip, don't
You need an early night.
Oh, I don't know. I have a kip in an afternoon and everything because I have been lately just with what's going on and stuff, everything draining me. I have a couple of hours and I'm still sat there like this. Honestly, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And I also need to say to you to buy the shoes. So I don't know if you've looked at shoes lately or you've looked at something footwear wise, but you've looked at some. The feeling I get is, and you're and ahhing whether you need them or whether you should buy them or whether you should not. But I feel you should buy them.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you also spoke about getting some kind of piercing done?
I had one done. Well, I've got one done. I've got one here, but
Yeah.
it fell out the other day.
Yeah, well, that could be what she's acknowledging. It's like a piercing. She's giving me a piercing, and I don't know why. And I'm like, please don't give it to me. No, but it's like a piercing, so that could be what it is. Again, I'm not 100%, so I'm a bit off, but that could be what it is. She's acknowledging it.
It fell out a couple of days ago.
She's also acknowledging that there's something about there was a clatter or something the other night in your house. Like something seemed to clatter.
Yeah.
And she's acknowledging that. So again, I don't know if that's her. I don't believe that was her that made that noise, but I do believe that was her coming through now and saying she's acknowledging it. So she's from spirit and she knows it was happening. But I do feel though that the noises and stuff in your house are happening because of the way you are, because of how you feel. And sometimes if we've got energy around us, it reacts with us. And it can make things like that happen, okay?
Yeah.
It's just giving you the heads up of it, so don't get too worried about it. I'm just letting you know. Right. Is it you that was splashing in puddles?
When?
Right, because I don't know. I've just got somebody splashing in puddles, and I feel like I'm happy about it. I feel like I was happy at the time, or happier, and I'm splashing in puddles.
Yeah, that does make sense actually. Yeah.
So I need to give you the splashing in puddles because maybe therapeutically splashing in water and stuff may help you.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. She's made me feel as well like you're quite dropsy daisy. And what I mean is you've dropped a jar of coffee or something, and then you've dropped some milk, and then you've dropped, and I feel like you're quite dropsy daisy.
Yeah.
And
That's
she's
right, yeah.
acknowledging this. This is just her way of saying that she's around and she sees what goes on, basically. Right. I'll tell you something though, one thing she's impressed with, you're sat in a car, aren't you? So I'm
Yeah.
presuming this is for your privacy readings while you're sat in your
Yeah.
car, right?
Yeah.
But she's impressed that you drive.
All right.
So, again, my feeling isn't she didn't. She didn't drive. And she's
Yeah.
quite impressed that you drive and you actually do it. She's
Yeah.
very, very, very stuck to her ways and very old-fashioned lady, but I do believe that she was the sort of person that she might have struggled showing emotion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
She wasn't what I'd say, oh, lovey-dovey, but I do
Yeah.
feel as though she was the strong person somebody needed when they needed somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why she's with you, because you need somebody. But I also feel with her as well, she's going back to the mental health side of it and she's acknowledging it, because I feel as though she knew she wasn't 100% when she was younger, but in them days it was a case of get on with it, and it was just it wasn't acknowledged. So I think what she's basically saying is she's happy with a lot of the changes for women. Don't know why, but she is. She's happy with a lot of changes for women. But I do feel you need to gain strength. And I do feel this energy is an energy for you to gain strength from, because she will, in her own way, help you gain that strength and help you say what you need to say and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay? Right, I'm going to ask her to choose your cards. I've had to go around today and find my cards because my nephew came the other day and decided, Auntie Sarah, I'm going to pick your cards up and I'm going to play a 52 card pick up. And one was missing. And I know when I've got a card missing, I can feel it. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I found it under the chair when I pulled it out to hoover. So I was like, thanks, Theo. Right. If you can hear that noise, the ice cream man has decided to come down the street. Can you hear him?
Yeah.
We had one come down middle of winter, pitch black, bouncing with rain, and they still come down, and it's like, why?
Why don't they do hot chocolate bans in winter?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
You'd-
like
you'd-
Baileys or something.
Oh, God, yeah. There's a business idea for you.
Yeah, the gap in the market, isn't there?
There you go, business idea for you. And that means you've got all summer to sort it out.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you something, if you do it, you let me know.
I will.
1, 2, 3. Right, your cards are Angel of Past Issues. I'll send you these sweet cheeks afterwards anyway.
Yeah.
You need to deal with what's going on in the past, because I do feel as though there's something that's happened to you in your past that again has made you doubt yourself and stuff, which we've all got pasts. But this is part of the reason I do feel like what you're going through now in a personal level you're struggling with, because oh, please stop, because it's like you haven't dealt with that, so you don't know how to deal with this properly, and you're trying to please everybody. But once you deal with and accept what's happened, you'll find strength, and you'll be able to deal with what's going on around you at the minute more. The word I'd use is productively, rather than I know what I mean anyway, and I know I hope
I
you
know
do.
what you mean. Yeah, I do.
Your next card is Angel of Balance. Everything with you is off. Everything. You've got 50 ton on one shoulder, 80 ton on the other shoulder. Then you've got everything's out of alignment inside, your chakras and everything are all out of alignment, so you're not feeling right.
Yeah.
You're spiritual, because I do believe you've got something about you spiritually, but I feel as though that isn't doing what it should be doing at the minute because you're not lined up emotionally, physically, or anything. You
Yeah.
need to learn balance. You need to deal with what's going on around you. As in like reality is, you've got to wake up in the morning and deal with stuff, because if you keep putting it off till tomorrow or you keep putting it off till next week, this is not going to get any better for you emotionally
No.
and mentally and spiritually. Okay,
Yeah.
learn how to balance things. Also try and, it might be hard, but try and take more time for you, relax more.
Yeah.
Try and take more time for you, even if you go in the bath for an hour and listen to some music, calming music and stuff. That helps, because that helps balance you inside, which again might not make you feel as worn down, if that makes sense. I'm only pointing because you
Yeah.
know what I'm on about. Okay,
Yeah. No, that does make sense.
last card, Angel of Decisions. We've already spoke about this. This is being very highly resonated. She's making this obvious. There is decisions that you need to make, because the longer you put it off, and the longer that you again try and leave it till next week or leave it till Christmas or whatever you want to do. Oh god, I wish to yawn more times than I've been speaking. The longer you put it off, the harder it is. You've got decisions to make, and this involves you and your family. But I do feel like you need to step away with the other person, talk, and see if that helps. If not, step away from the situation with you and yours, and try and make them see that this needs to change. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm also getting there's going to be a decision coming up where a job is involved. Now, I don't know if it's a change of job, or I don't know if it's the same sort of job higher up the ladder. I don't know, but I do feel as though there's a decision that's going to be made about a job. But I do feel like she's making me feel like the decisions that you make throughout your life are made to suit other people rather than yourself. And once you start making decisions that are about you and suit yourself, rather than building it around other people who probably wouldn't base their decisions around you, you will find strength. And this is, I believe, why she's going to be with you, because she had that strength and that character. She was a matriarch. She was an absolute matriarch. She ruled with a rod of iron. As I say, I do believe that her marriage wasn't 100%, and I do believe there was things in the marriage that have never been spoke of, because in them days it was normal to keep your mouth shut and accept it. But I do also feel as like, if she was here now, she would be a force to be reckoned with, and that's what you need. You need that behind you to be able to move forward.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to stop this recording.